Hello, everybody, and welcome to this introductory webinar for the Student College Challenge for National Engineering Month in Ontario in 2015. My name is Erica, and myself and Alan are your two main go-to people for National Engineering Month 2015, as well as all things College Student Challenge. So you'll see that there are a number of organizations that are responsible for bringing you National Engineering Month, which is basically the campaign every year that celebrates engineering and engineering technology. So first of all, we're going to give you some information. We do have another webinar coming up in about 25 minutes, so I need to get all this information in for you. We're going to give you an introduction on the challenge, some of the goals of the challenge, how it went last year, which was actually the first year that we offered it, how we determine who wins, which is something we get a lot of questions about, and then give you another sense of what the events were last year and what the next steps are if you would like to participate this year. So first of all, before we go any further, I will say that the College Student Challenge is being presented by OSET, and that stands for the Ontario Association of Certified Engineering Technicians and Technologists. For those of you who didn't know that, that is the professional body that you will definitely want to join when you graduate from your engineering technology program, because that's the official professional body of engineering technicians and technologists in Ontario. And you can check out their website here if you have more questions about that. So let's talk about National Engineering Month in Ontario, of which OSET is a part. You can see we've been running the campaign for a couple of years now, and back in 2012, 2013, we were stuck around about 140, 142 events, which is pretty good. So this is just the month of March. We run events all across the province, going into classrooms, going into public spaces, going into universities and colleges, pretty much anywhere you can imagine. We're trying to get out there and influence the public's perception and awareness of engineering and technology. So 140 events is really nothing to sneeze at, but obviously we always want to be reaching a bigger audience and having a very high quality impact and reaching as many people as possible. So 2014 really was a success story. We got up to 187 events. These are the number of people we engaged in person, over 27,000. Our reach through traditional media, that's magazines and newspapers, went up to 1.4 million, and we engaged people through our website as well at a higher level than ever before. And our social media impressions took off as well. So we felt that this was, quantity-wise, this was the best National Engineering Month ever. From the point of view of OSET, it was also a very successful time. They were hosting about 10 events per year, per campaign, throughout 2012 and 2013. And thanks to the College Challenge, which involved bringing college students on board, teaming them up with their local OSET chapters. There are 28 chapters of OSET all across Ontario, and students got together with their local OSET chapters to co-deliver events, to put on events that raised awareness about engineering technology for the public and for students. And that meant we got up to 22 total events, thanks in large part to the challenge. So this was a big success from that point of view. That was excellent to be able to double the engagement that they experienced. They also brought on board a lot of new organizations from within the colleges. So OSET is obviously interested in talking to the people that are going to grow up and join their profession. That's you guys as college students someday. They wanted to talk to organizations working, say, the Engineering Society, IEEE, Student Protection Fire Protection Association, that should say, not prevention. They do sprinklers and interesting pieces of technology that can put out fires and save people's lives. Women in Technology, the Mechanical Engineering Society, as well as the Engineering Association at all these different colleges. So it was definitely a success story from that perspective as well. And finally, it was a great excuse for OSET working engineering technology professionals to get together with students. So just to have those conversations, to say, hey, how's it going? How is the job? How is school? What do you see coming up next? What sorts of things are you working on? We had great participation from OSET volunteers. There's a volunteer at every OSET chapter across Ontario called the College Liaison, and they act as a mentor to the students. Then there's another role which is to be a judge of the events, which we will talk about in a minute as well. And we had both OSET members and professional engineering members coming together to perform that. So because it was such a success last year, when it was a bit of a pilot, it was a bit of an experiment, we are running the NEM OSET College Student Challenge again for 2015. So again, it was first introduced in our National Engineering Month in 2014. We're doing it again in 2015. It's open only to students that are registered in an engineering technology program at Ontario colleges. They must organize a National Engineering Month event, which again is this bigger campaign that's going on across the province anyway, and lots of engineering societies at universities, professional engineering chapters, OSET chapters are already putting on their own events. This is bringing the college students on board with that in teams of up to 5 students. They can also have a faculty advisor, and the prize is $2,500 cash, which is pretty fantastic, and a 1-year student OSET membership for everyone that's on the team. So of course we have a website. Encourage you to check out this website, bookmark it, and make sure that you keep checking it because there's lots of good information there. nemontario.ca/college-challenge. You can also get to it from the main page by going to Start Here and then selecting College Students. So here is what you find at nemontario.ca/college-challenge, and the first thing that you need to do as a team of students is you need to register. There is some additional information and there are some other steps you need to take after that, which I will describe, but I cannot stress enough how important it is that you register before October 28th. That is our deadline for students to express their interest. So basically all you need are the names of your team members and their email addresses. So we take up to 5 names for one team, and those are the people that we communicate with officially. Your team could actually be larger than that. That would be fine. So here's some fine print, and I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of this. I'm going to point out a couple of things here. You are eligible for up to $700 toward your event expenses. So you need to write up a budget and let us know how much money you need and how you'll be using that money. And I will be going through that process in more detail in the next webinar, the National Engineering Month Organizer webinar. But we're going to stick to just talking about aspects of the College Challenge for now. You are, however, eligible to put in for NEM innovation funding as well. So you can have a look. All that information is on our website. Again, $2,500 to the winning team, free OSET student memberships. Those are the prizes. We hope those will activate you and we hope those will get you excited. But obviously there's so much more that you can gain by being a participant in this challenge. You get to network with the working professionals that are working in your chosen field of study, the OSET members. You can learn from them what's going on. You can start conversations about, hey, what's it like working out there? You know, what's it like to work in this particular company or in this industry? Find out, why it is that you're learning all of the math and the mechanical knowledge that you're acquiring. How does that play out in the real world? That's a really exciting conversation. It's also an opportunity for you to gain some leadership, because this organizing an event, it's a lot of work, but it's a different type of work. It's often a fun challenge for people, test their leadership and their organizational abilities, some project management. And employers know that students who can put together events like this, who get involved in these types of extracurricular activities, make excellent employees. So this also looks good on your resume, and it gives you capacities that you might not have thought you had. So we encourage you to get involved for all those reasons. Finally, here's a must. You must have the support of the OSET chapter in your region. In fact, their signature is required on your application form. Okay, so you have to be in touch with the OSET chapter. You have to have their buy-in on what you're doing, and they are expecting you. They will be more than happy to work with you and support you. So you might have a college liaison, and you also might have a faculty advisor, a college instructor to help you get organized. That's often quite beneficial to students, especially those who haven't done it before. So how do we determine who wins? This was a question we got a lot last year, as I mentioned. I'm going to answer it in 2 ways. First of all, we've given you a complete synopsis of last year. So this is very valuable data for you. We had 10 event teams representing 7 Ontario colleges compete last year, and we're hoping to have at least as many this year. We compiled their judges' comments, what they were best at, and what other teams can learn from them. for all of the, well, first of all, for the team that won, which was from Confederation College in Thunder Bay, well done them. They put on a career fair and a tech conference. That was the winning event. It received the highest ranking from in all of the combined criteria, but we also put together this information for every one of the events that entered. We found positive comments and something they were best at in every single event. So it was really hard to pick a winner because all of the events were good at something. We used the mechanism of competition to inspire people and to engage them and to excite them. But really, you know, the bigger picture is that we want to engage and inspire youth and help the public really understand what it is that we do as engineering technicians and technologists. And so we hope that you don't get too hung up on that as the prize is the end goal, but more that reaching out and doing that education and outreach is the prize. That said, if you're dead set on winning, we've given you the blueprint on how to do this, on how to do it, because there's really good comments and talking about what each group did well that added up to success. We also have this document, which is called the competition criteria. This is something we put together last year to explain how we would be choosing the winner. And so there are 3 components: the judges report, the things that you as organizers submit to us, which we request of you, and then there's the post-event engagement, which is, again, something that you need to show us. So in addition to putting on your event, you need to take a little time to think about numbers 2 and 3 here and make sure that we have all the information we need in order to evaluate your event. For example, filling out the scorecard is very important. We were not really able to award the points that we would have liked to award to the students who organized events but didn't submit a scorecard. So that's a really easy one. But going back to the judge is really just looking for what was the plan? Did the event go to plan? And did the event accomplish the goals of National Engineering Month? They're not assessing in a technical sense. They attend the event, they interact with the organizers and attendees, they're very friendly, they're good people, they want to find everything that you're doing right, and then they're going to fill in and submit a judge's report to us, and we will take the information that they give us. They're not there to provide advice. That's really the mentor role, and you will have a mentor and an advisor who helps you throughout the course of the planning process. The judge will be a different person because we need them to be impartial to make sure that we're being objective and fair across the board. So here's what the judge's report will look like. The first thing that we ask, it's very, very simple, what was the intended message that the organizers wanted the participants to take away from the event? Remember, we're not just trying to fill people's heads with technical knowledge. We want them to understand something that they don't understand right now about engineering technology. Maybe it's something about the way it shapes the world around us, or something about how it's fun and creative and interesting and not just difficult or boring, which is what some people might think, even though that's not true. And then how well did the event organizers deliver this message? So how good is the message? How well was it delivered? Judge is going to give you a score and some comments on that. Part 2 is the theme. The theme of all of National Engineering Month is Make a World of Difference. So we want you to put your creative thinking caps on and figure out how you can put that message across. It could mean many different things, but you want to work that into the conversation and the presentation or whatever the activities are that you're planning to hold at your event. And this is something you can talk to the judges about as well, about what that theme meant to you and how you went about including it. So again, how was the integration of the theme? How well did it happen? And a score and some comments. And part 3, how well did the participants get engaged? Were they fully present? And I guess this is one of those sort of intangible things, but you can tell when someone's into what's going on and when they're sort of bored. There's the body language of them being sort of leaned forward, listening attentively, nodding, smiling, and there are things that you can do to create that engagement. So here are some ideas. Small volunteer to participant ratio. If you have lots of people available to talk to people or to run the demonstrations, that's better than fewer. You want to ask and answer lots of questions, not just talk at people in a wave of information. You want to use age-appropriate language. So depending on what age group you're dealing with, you're going to use simpler words, for example, and you're going to, relate it to something that they know and understand and care about in order to move forward. And I would say also audience appropriate language, even if you're talking to grown-ups, if they're non-technical grown-ups, you want to make sure that you're not using language that they won't understand, or that, that they'll walk away feeling sort of intimidated and left out rather than feeling excited and inspired, which is really, obviously we want the latter. All hands-on activities. I tell you, there's some kind of magic that happens when people get to pick something up and work with it, play with it. It sort of opens up another chamber in their brain. So that's really a key to engaging people and giving them support. If there's an activity, maybe you're running a design challenge or some kind of thing that people need a task they need to perform, you want to make sure that they have support for that. Encouraging all types of learners. Again, you want to make sure that you're not just talking, that maybe you've got other things that they can look at, some things that they can touch, maybe some things they can take home, maybe some things they can smell. I don't know. I mean, whatever works for you to make it really exciting and engaging for them. So I see that our next webinar has 10 minutes till it's going to start, so that's good. And also just encourage engagement. So an example could be that if you break people up into groups and ask them to consider a question amongst themselves, something that they will be able to relate to and give some answers. Start a conversation with people. Just see what they have to say. And if, standing around or sitting around in groups is not feasible to your event, be creative. What about using social media to start a discussion? That's really what social media is all about, is about conversation. So there are lots of options and ways to get a discussion going so that, it's more than just holding up a piece of technology and saying, hey, this is technology, it's cool. You really want to give them more context and more meaning around it. So hopefully that makes sense and you've got some good ideas of how to engage people. Here is a list of everybody that registered for the challenge last year, and as you can see, we had great responses from a number of different schools. So we had Conestoga, Seneca, Sheridan, George Brown. Actually, George Brown did not end up completing their event, unfortunately. They had to withdraw. Loyalist, I know Josh from Quinty is on the line, so thank you for all your help with the Quinty, the Loyalist event. Confederation College that ended up getting the highest rank. Centennial put a couple of events in as well. So we were very encouraged by all of the interest that we had last year, and we're hoping that we can have just as much, if not more, this year, and really support the students, the student teams in putting on great events. So from last year into this year, here's everything you need to know. This is a very important slide here. Friday, October 28th, you must register on the website. Here's where you register, right here. So nemontario.ca/college-challenge. Register now. We need that information as soon as possible. The next deadline is exactly a month later, as it worked out. November 28th. We need your completed funding applications due in to us. And if you'd like to stick around for the next webinar, we'll explain about the funding application. From there, in December, we will communicate the funding decisions back to you. We'll let you know, okay, you've been approved for this much. Please proceed. And we will start putting all of the information about the events up on our website. And that takes a little bit of time, but we will get that finished for you, and you can direct people to the information page on our website if they want information about your event. We'll also have some webinars available, sort of assistance for you in various forms, so that you'll have some help putting together your event. Finally, January, things are starting to really heat up now. We're getting down to the last few months before the campaign starts. Your scorecards will be given to you, and you'll get your first funding payment. So you'll get part of your funding up front. February, we will ship you all of the merchandise that you requested, so that you'll get it for sure by the end of February, so you'll be ready to go in March. You'll hold your event, complete your scorecard as soon as possible, and send it back to us. And then once we receive your scorecard, that's what triggers the second funding payment to be distributed. Okay, so I cannot stress enough, scorecard, then you get the rest of the money. If you return your scorecard by April 10th, which should be no problem because all of your events will be done by then, we will get you your check right away. If you send your scorecard back after that, you'll have to wait a little bit longer for your check. And if you send in your scorecard after June 15th, we will not be issuing a second payment. And unfortunately, that did happen a couple of times last year. So we want to really make sure that everybody gets the funding. We don't want anyone to be out of pocket, but we also do need to keep our record keeping nice and clean and tidy. So that is the cutoff date. Do make sure that you get your scorecards in by then, and we will get you the rest of your money. Then there's just one more thing to do. We need to pick the winner, and we need to do all of the rankings, everything that we did last year, so that people are notified of how they did. They get their feedback, and there'll be some sort of ceremony likely at the winning team's college, similar to what we did last year. So that is all that I have. Please register. We hope to see you in the College Student Challenge. Alan and I are available if you have any questions, and please follow us on Facebook and tweet at us at Twitter and Instagram. Hashtag NEM 2015 is where it's at. So thank you very much for attending. I hope that you found all of this information helpful, and I am now going to allow anyone to ask questions.